Good afternoon, our LinkedIn friends. Good afternoon. My name is Lucien Jeffrey. I'm the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur Nation. We are coming live on the LinkedIn profile of the Entrepreneur Nation with Dwayne Richards, who is the regional director for Toronto. Hi, Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon, Lucy.
I like how you have the picture of Toronto there. It
Yeah,
looks very
I just need
beautiful.
to, I just need to move sideways for a minute so they can see the CN Tower and
For
the
people to
Rogers
see it.
Center. It looks like I have something coming out of the top of my head, but it's the CN Tower.
Awesome, great. I really like that. So, the Entrepreneur Nation, members of the Entrepreneur Nation, if you're following us on this page, and the friends that we have that follow us within the Entrepreneur Nation, we really want to tell you that we have exciting news for you. The exciting news is I reached out to Dwayne to ask him to become the leader for the chapter in Toronto. We didn't have a chapter last year. And Dwayne, I think you are a little bit hesitant.
Maybe a little bit, because I was, um, yeah, it's one of those things. I just wasn't sure how much work it was going to be. You don't want to you don't want to, as they say, you don't want to bite off more than you can chew. Um,
Yes, yes. And I remember it was in almost tax season on during tax season, and you said, no, Lucy, I said, Dwayne, you know what? If you can spare 30 minutes, 1 hour to have lunch during tax season, then have lunch with other professionals. I don't think that accountants don't eat lunch during tax season.
you make a great point, because actually I have a colleague in the U.S. that has a Facebook group for accountants, and his thing is also telling accountants like to actually like stop and like make sure you take a real lunch hour, right? To say, because
Exactly.
sometimes we just sit at our desks all day, but you're right, to take an hour to connect with other business professionals, it's worth it.
Yes, and so Dwayne accepted, and Didi, I wanted to lock him in. Like, you know me, I'm very persistent. The tax season was going on. I said, Dwayne, I want you to sign my agreement to become the regional director, but let's start in May when you are done with the tax season. I didn't remember that story, Dwayne. So you finished with the taxes. You told me, listen, give me a week to just rest after the taxes. And then the second week of May, we got going.
And
Now it's not even 1 year.
I think we did. I think we did one of them. I think, or maybe the other, because we were on vacation in we went in Vancouver Island, and the great thing about the is that like by using Zoom, I did one of my meetings from Vancouver Island while I was on vacation.
Exactly. That's really exciting. And so we decided to have the Toronto chapter as a virtual chapter because who want to drive in the Toronto traffic to go and network, right? Nobody want to do that. So to avoid the members having to drive, we decided to make it virtual. They all meet on Zoom. And what we like and what we are reporting to everybody is this chapter has grown. It is the fastest growing chapter within the Entrepreneur Nation. It is the chapter that has hit more than 20 members before the year is over. So, because the year won't be over in May, Dwayne, right?
Yeah,
So, I am so excited by what you're doing. But what I'm even more excited about is how you and I have worked together. I think we work as a team.
for sure. And that was that, and you helped kind of relieve some of my, not worries, but just maybe apprehension, or where you did, like, we really did work a, a lot in the first 90 days, because because you committed to say, well, I can give you like the full support for the first 90 days to get us up to that fifth, to get us to the first 15. And it, like anything, it's around building the momentum, that once we kind of got that piece, and it became, it's much more attractive, right? Because again, when members come to a group and there's more people there, you're obviously more attractive than if there was only five of us there. Like if there's only five of us there, people are like, where are all the people?
Yeah, and within the Entrepreneur Nation, we have a policy where we don't start the chapter until we have 10 members.
Yeah.
I know there are some places where they go and start chapters, so we start, and then I want to make sure that we have 10 members before the next meeting. Like now, we are just starting the golf chapter, And before their meeting at the end of this month, it's my commitment with Alex, who is the regional director, to make sure we have minimum 10 members by the next meeting. So that's why I work 24 hours sometimes if we have to work 24 hours. But thankfully, the regional directors don't have to work 24 hours. So really, thank you. Thank you that sometimes we have people we work with that, because if you did not cooperate and do it the same way and do the way we are saying, let's do it, and look at our policies and follow the policies, it will not have worked. Trust me, Dwayne, I've tried with a few others. They say that the 80-20 rule. So sometimes you start with some and it doesn't work. And then you start with the others. And so not giving up made it possible for us to be able to have a vibrant Toronto chapter. I am excited. So what I want us to do today, Dwayne, because there are so many of them, I'm happy you sent an email. About 5 members have joined to let the other members know of the new members who have joined. So there are more than 20 now, and you have more that are interested in joining. I want us to go through. We have a directory for the Toronto chapter. I want us to walk through, and actually I can even put the directory here so that if people want to go and look up the members, they can go to that website and look up the members of the Toronto chapter. They just need to go to the directory on this website and they will be able to see them. So that is the website for Toronto chapter. So people need to type .co, not .com, because sometimes people type .com and then they don't go to our website. So it's toronto.tenation.co. I want us to go through and give a shout out to our members. They are really awesome. I like them. I haven't met them, Dwayne. In fact, even you, I met you at the gala last year. We've been working and we've never met.
Yeah, we did, and that was a fantastic event. We already put the members on notice about the gala for November of 2023. But you're right, it was great to meet, and then it was very motivating because again the other regional directors were there, and one of the regional directors was the director of the year, and it a little bit of motivation to say, well, how can I get to be on stage for 2023? And I set the goal, my personal goal, and we talked about it, but to get to 20, that we wanted to run the chapter for the full year with at least 20 members. And as of this week, we hit 21. So just before the January deadline, January month end, 21. And so what we wanted to do, and it was a great idea from Lucy, was just to do not quick, but a little an introduction to each of who the members are, so that you can go. But I'll introduce and kind of say what they do, and we've gotten to know them over the last, some of them over the last 8-9 months.
And what I like is some members actually joined. Like they joined when there was no one. When we start the chapter, we have to have a few people joining before we get the 10. How can you get to 10 if you don't start with 1, right? Yeah. So you are the first member. Thank you so much for believing in us, Dwayne. And then I remember Brian joined, Andrew joined, John joined, and now I'm even like, are you going to accept any more people? I think you should say no now. Like start telling people, no, we don't have space for you.
Well, and you're right. There's still, like, we don't want to go too high, but there's still, like, again, we're still a couple of key roles where we, like a litigation lawyer and maybe like a marketing person. But you're right. So like, and you're right, Andrew. So Andrew Krug is our commercial realtor. Actually, it's a husband and wife. So Andrew liked it so much that then his wife Kaylee came on board, and they're with PC 275. They're kind of based here in Toronto, but they do real estate along the 401 corridor. So Andrew was, I think he was like 1 or number 2, and we're not sure who was number 2. Maybe I was number 1. But Andrew, and then Brian Smith, and Brian works.
So while you are there, let's talk about Andrew Crook a little bit, because I know Andrew very well for so many years.
He came from London.
He came from London. Andrew, if you're watching this, Andrew joined the Entrepreneur Nation in 2019. And Andrew, as a real estate broker of record with so many realtors, I wasn't even sure if he was going to commit to our group. But he stayed there. He's awesome, connected with our members in London. At one time, I even appointed him the president of our CEOs Club in London. And so then he moved to Toronto, and I was lost. Like, you know what, Andrew? So now we won't see you again. And even that's when I started thinking we need to start a chapter. But because Andrew was establishing himself in Toronto, his brokerage and all that, I didn't want to tell him to lead the group because I knew he was busy. So obviously, we needed you to lead the group, and he joined. And his wife, Kelly Lunan, who I know very well, also joined the Toronto chapter. So Andrew is the commercial realtor for the chapter, and Kelly is the residential realtor for the chapter. Husband and wife in the chapter, we appreciate them. So let's go to Brian Smith, the mortgage agent, because I knew Brian before. And I was like, Brian, let's start a chapter. You know, I'm always asking people to chair the meetings. And Brian said, you know what? When you start one, let me know. I said, Brian, I'm starting one close to you, please. And he was like, I'm joining that. So tell us a little bit about Brian now that you have known him even more than me.
Yeah. So yeah, I believe Brian's with Mortgage Alliance. Again, it's nice
Architect, mortgage architect.
All right, my bad.
Sorry, Brian.
Make it right.
Mortgage architect.
Mortgage. And the great thing is, like, not that you can't have mortgage people like with the bank, but it's nice. It's fantastic having a mortgage broker, because we know about mortgage brokers. Mortgage brokers work for their clients, and they kind of figure out what their clients need, and then they go and find to fit the needs of the client. And both Brian and Andrew, again, I love every month when they come, it's their business, but it's good when it is their business. They're on top of what's going on. So obviously Brian's been busy the last months with, another mortgage rate increase, another more, like, when are these mortgage rates, like, when's, and so both of them have come with, like, up to date, market information every month to help educate other members, that we can then educate our clients to say, this is what's going on in the market. So it's been
wonderful, Dwayne. So let's go to John, the real estate lawyer. I like John. I've never met him. John, if you're watching this, I'm hoping to meet you sometime and even come to your office in Toronto. So tell us a little bit about John based on what you have known him. What I know is that he's a real estate lawyer with over 20 years of experience helping homeowners to transfer their real estate. And John, for over 20 years, is never under claim against him. So that's what I like him. And I always tell people, reach out to us if you are selling and buying in Toronto. So we introduce you to a lawyer in Toronto who has been doing this long enough. Okay.
Yeah, and John was, like, pretty early in, was one of the differentiators that he did in his business was he does a fixed rate close. So I think it's $975. It's less than $1,000. So it's a fixed rate. You know how sometimes you deal with lawyers, Lucy, and we love our lawyers, but sometimes you're not quite sure how much it's going to cost. And it is like, is it more for, like, if my house is worth more, do they charge me more? And that's not the case with John. It's a fixed rate per transaction. Again, their business, even though he's been around for a number of years, they've embraced technology. So their office is fully, like, e-signatures, Zoom reviews. So again, you don't have to, like, race to this is the day of your closing, you got to race to the lawyer's office. It's not the case. It's all online. And again, John has a team. So again, there's his team of, whether it be the clerks or juniors, or we've had the privilege of working with John directly, but he also there's a team in his office. So he's bringing and the one thing I talked with John, one thing that he loves to do is also, again, he's going out to, like, realtor, like, brokerages, and does a number of speaking engagements to further kind of educate, because again, what's the point of all this knowledge if you don't share it with people? So John's available to come out to speak and to again share his 20 plus years of real estate knowledge of what's going on today. So valuable.
Awesome. We'll keep going fast because they are 20 and we don't want to stay here forever. So we have Laluka Soeka.
Yeah. And I'm not sure like whether I met her first or you met her first.
I
Doesn't
met
really matter.
Reluka first.
One of us met each. We met Raluca first. We met, and then again as a valuable. So from a realist, not real estate
Wills and
law,
Estate. She's
but
Wills and Estate lawyer.
wills and estates. And again, she was, how we have our members. We have a featured member. So early on, Raluca was one of our featured members, and she shared about the benefits of second wills. I'm like, a second will, what is that? And so again, just that value of someone who's knowledgeable in estate law, wills, and estate to again bring that knowledge to the group, so that if one of my clients needs a will, then Raluca is my first introduction for my tax clients who may need a will, because I know that that's what she specializes in. It's nice to have a specialist.
Wonderful, wonderful. Again, if you're watching us, we are running fast because we have 20 members. So let's run quickly. We have Michael, who has just joined us now and is a tax lawyer. So what a wonderful way to have a tax lawyer in the network.
It's great. So, and you're right, Michael is, I think he was the newest member in 2023. Now we have 3 members that just joined this week. But Michael works for Rearfold, like a Bay Street law firm. I actually met Michael at a CPA event. I'm at the CPA event. Thing is all room full of accountants, and there was actually 2 of our new members I met at that event, and they're both lawyers. So again, to have someone who can specialize who actually worked from the kind of the Crown side, who now works as not a defender, but works for the client side, to bring that tax knowledge of to help. Again, if clients that have tax issues.
Yes, I'm rushing. So his correct name is pronounced as Michael Ding?
Yep.
Awesome. Michael Ding, tax lawyer. Thank you, Michael. We're happy to have you. So we have Garnet Powell.
Right. So again, Garnet came at the end of the year. So again, he's a financial advisor, and again, his specialty is on the wealth side, right? Because we have another advisor does insurance, but from a financial planner, but again, from a wealth point of view. Garnet shared did a quick talk in January, just talking about what's new with the RSPs and getting ready for RSP season. So again, it's a valuable role. They're all valuable roles, but again, someone just specializes again on the wealth side of the business.
Awesome. And what I know about Garnet, I'm the one, of course, who was chatting with him there. And I started chatting with him, I think last year or something, but there was nothing available on that side. He owns his own farm, if I'm not wrong. So he's not under those big farms. He owns his own farm, and so he's able to take care of clients, and he has a team. So we'll rush quickly, and we'll have to rush because people will not watch us forever. Caroline Chambers is representing Lisa Gelman. So they are family lawyers, of course. We will not spend a lot of time there. But what I will say is that I know Lisa personally on talking with her on LinkedIn, and she actually even joined the chapter herself. But because she is the owner of the farm with over 18 lawyers, obviously we don't think that she is able to make all the commitments. She's busy with the farm and her family. And so she appointed Caroline to represent her. So Caroline is family lawyer representing Gelman family laws that are very well known and very well spread out in Toronto and all over Ontario. Is there one quick thing you want to say about Lisa because you met her through Zoom?
Yeah, so we actually did a quick call. We had a quick call on Wednesday, because again, it's nice to meet, to actually have a quick conversation before she comes to our first chapter meeting. Lovely. And again, as a lawyer that specializes, right? There's a benefit to having those specific seats, to say like a lawyer that specializes in the family and mediation side. So again, it's and kind of welcomed her and looking forward to her joining us in a week's time for her first chapter.
Wonderful. Wonderful. The next member is Tracy Pedder. Am I pronouncing the name correctly?
Yeah.
And Tracy, I remember when we sat down with you here and said we need an insurance broker in the chapter, and we
Yeah.
didn't know anyone. I remember we identified Tracy because she's with Desjardins Insurance, and we have other Desjardins Insurance agents in our chapters in other cities, and we sent her an email. We actually sent 3 emails, and she's the one who responded. The others did not respond. And
Yeah.
she responded and she met with you and she joined and she has her team. So thank you so much, Tracy. If you're watching this, we know you are busy, but we're happy that you're connecting with the members. Anything you want to say about Tracy very quickly?
No, again, again, nice a team again when she like if she wasn't able to come, like one of her associates came. Just geographically, I just moved. We moved, and her office is kind of just down the road, so it's nice that if I do want to go meet, I can go meet her in her office because she's probably of everyone in the chapter, she's probably the closest one geographically to where my office is. So.
Awesome, great. We have Swati Basi, and Swati, I'm the one again who talked to her there. She was introduced to me by Anthony. So Swati is great. I definitely want to talk about her. She's great. I talked to her. We talked on the phone right away. She's a financial advisor, but focusing on life and health and benefits. So she's great. She's, of course, taken a quick break. We won't say what, but it's a temporary break. She's coming back based on a personal reason. And so, if you can watch this, I really thank you so much. And thank you for keeping in touch with me and Dwayne. And we look forward to you to coming back to the chapter to work with the other members. Let's talk about Mike Tobin. Am I pronouncing the name properly?
Yeah,
Mike,
you're doing well. You're doing well. Yep.
Yeah, Mike, I remember I also talked to him right there on LinkedIn and said, we have a great group in Toronto. I want you to be part of it. I was very happy that Michael is part of TND Commercial Account Management. And so he joined us. Anything you can tell us quickly about Michael? We will not necessarily reveal a lot of information that can touch on client privacy.
Yeah. So again, the great thing about having like what I love, Lucy, just in general about the Entrepreneur Nation is when like large organizations. So it's like the law firms, the large banks, and like, why do the large banks need to join? But the great thing about Michael is like again with his commercial, but again he comes with there's a team. So again, not necessarily the whole team doesn't come each week, but if one of my clients has a need at TD, Michael is the first person kind of in the door to satisfy the business commercial lending needs for any of my clients or referrals. So it's nice to have like large organizations like see the value in the business networking like Entrepreneur Nation.
Awesome. So we have Michelle Follows, and Michelle was introduced to us by you, Dwayne. And Michelle is a professional estate trustee executor. I really think that she's the first person I've ever met who does what she's doing. Would you be able to tell us very briefly about Michelle?
Yes. Michelle's probably the person I've known the longest. So Michelle is also a fellow CPA. So I've known Michelle from her days prior when she was doing some executive or some virtual CFO work. And then she shifted and then she's identified to say, and you're right, she's probably the only executor, right, professional executor, but she's identified a need and this growing need to have an independent person. So if you're the executor and you don't know what you're doing, then Michelle can coach you through the role of being an executor for someone's estate. And it's
Awesome.
fantastic to bring that CPA kind of the numbers background that's needed. But she's not a lawyer.
Awesome. I really want to bring forward Leon. Leon, if you're going to watch this, Leon Presner. I like Leon so much because I was talking to Leon even before any chapters came around in that area. And we were always chatting. And whenever I posted anything, he would make very positive comments on my post and we'll talk on Messenger, on LinkedIn. And so when a chapter came around, and Leon is very busy. I said, Leon, I know you're busy, but please, again, that's what I always talk to busy professionals. If you can have time to eat lunch, why can't you eat one lunch on in a month with other professionals? Why can't you have coffee with other professionals just once a month? And Leon, listen to me, he's a paralegal. and his paralegal practice, without going into details, is the best one to describe it, is totally different from most of what other paralegals do. It deals with cases that didn't work very well with lawyers. Would you like to say something very briefly about Leon?
Yeah, and you kind of touched it on. So yeah, so it, and again, that like having a strong paralegal in any chapter is fantastic because they do work so well with the lawyers. Reach out to Leon because again, we can't be brief about kind of the all the services that his firm offers, but there's services that he's the only one that's offering these in Toronto and Ontario. So it's fantastic having him as the paralegal in our chapter.
Yeah, and Leon is a former police officer. Leon, I salute you. He's a former police officer, and so he's combining that with paralegal, and he's actually now doing his degree to become a lawyer. Like he knows everything. He does even private investigations. So you people, if you want anybody to be investigated, we have Leon here who can do that for you. And I'm very happy that he has a very busy practice. So we have Joe, who has just joined us, John Gray. We won't say much because he has just joined us and we welcome you, Joe. Joe was introduced to me by Adam. So they work in the same law practice and they are personal injury lawyers in Toronto. So I reached out to Adam there on LinkedIn. He's a partner in the law firm. And I said, I know, Adam, you're very busy. I'm not coming for you to join the chapter, but do you have other partners in the chapter that you may want to introduce to us? I described the profile of the members of the Toronto chapter. I said they are very well established with a great book of business. So can you send us someone who would meet that profile? And so Adam identified Joe Gray, and Joe Gray was introduced to us, and he just joined today. Was it today or yesterday?
I think he's joining today. He's like the
I
newest.
think he joined today. So, Joe, you're awesome because you sent me emails right away. You gave me your phone number, cell number to call you. I called you right away. We have been talking on LinkedIn. I feel that by dealing with you for that 1 week, less than a week, and how you take action quickly and how you make decisions quickly, you'll be able to work very well with our members. So I want everyone to know that we have a personal injury lawyer who is now part of the Toronto chapter. Awesome. So we'll go to Seth. Seth Holland. Seth Holland is also someone I've been chatting with. I love chatting on LinkedIn with people. I was chatting with Seth and talking to him and saying, Seth, I didn't think you can fit very well in our group. He's a labor employment lawyer and human rights lawyer. So Seth joined our chapter. He's very well focused there. I see him attending the meetings all the time. Can you tell us something about him?
Yeah, again, it's sometimes you figure out, we specialize so much, and it was like, do we really need an employment lawyer in your chapter? And then in I saw a post in one of my tax clients. Unfortunately, something happened with her husband, and he was terminated. And so she's like, I'm looking for some advice for what. And I'm like, well, I have a tax lawyer. I have an employment lawyer in my chapter that I'm happy to. So I do again. We do the email introduction. Seth, I'd like you to meet so and so. She has some questions about that needs an employment lawyer, and Seth's happy to, again. But that's his job, is to then advise them. So. And again, just bringing that employment knowledge, because again, a lot of our chapter members are employers. They have employees. So again, just to educate them, say, okay, these are the types of things that you need to be aware of as employers.
Thank you, Seth. And Seth, I was supposed to come to Toronto before Christmas, and we were supposed to meet with Seth and Leon and a few others for lunch. Those who are available, and you, Dion, and you, Dwayne, I'm sorry. But again, the weather changed. The weather can change a lot. So definitely I'm coming to the Toronto in spring and I'll meet all of them. So we have Nicole. And Nicole is an immigration lawyer. And she was introduced to me by Jennifer. who is an immigration lawyer in our Kitchener chapter. And I love you, Jennifer, if you're also watching, because one immigration lawyer says, I'm joining the Kitchener chapter, but I also know someone I want to introduce to the Toronto chapter. So that's how she joined. And so we will definitely pass that, because we don't have a lot of information that we can say, but we'll keep gathering more information. So we have Jag Singh. You are the one who introduced Jag to us, and he is although you are an accountant, Dwayne, and that's why we like you, and you are paying the membership, you decided not to compete with your members, right? And you also decided not to be the one doing taxes for your members. It doesn't, maybe it could even be a conflict of interest. So you joined another chapter, and this chapter you welcomed another CPA to be able to be serving the members. Thank you for doing that. So one accountant introducing another. That's why I love the Entrepreneur Nation, because we don't see competition. So tell me something more about Jag.
Yeah. So again, it's someone that I got connected with, and partially it was like we went out asking people who wants to join, and whoever says yes first, in a way. And Jag, it's interesting because Jag's he's a CPA, he's building a CPA firm, but he also he's also building a technology firm. So his firm actually, again, all the chatter about artificial intelligence. So he's finding a way to actually help leverage artificial intelligence to help streamline and make the process of accounting and bookkeeping and that a lot easier. So it's not that you still need people, Lucy. You need people, but to say, how can we use technology to take away some of that possible error, like things that like data entry stuff that could cause errors. So that's again someone that's kind of trending, growing and changing the direction of their profession is so valuable too.
Awesome. We are telling stories, and I'm a storyteller. I love stories, Dwayne. We are telling stories about our members. So that's why we post shout outs there on LinkedIn and all that, telling stories about our members, letting people know about our members, because the more we say it, the more people know them and the more people want to do business with them. So we have Jackie Stanley, and Jackie was actually introduced to me by Christine Silva. Christine Silva joined our White Oaks chapter here in London. They are from Skill and Associates, licensed insolvency trustees that are based in Toronto. And so when Christine joined, because they opened an office in London, I said, Christine, the end office is in Toronto. Do you know someone there who might be interested to be part of our network? And so she sent the word around in the firm, and then Jackie said she's interested, and she joined. So licensed insolvency trustee. And Dwayne, I think we'll just pass on to the next one, so we don't waste a lot of time. So very quickly, we have Frank, and I think you have to be able to help us to pronounce the last name.
You put me on the
Frank
spot.
Delicio?
Yeah.
Frank Delicio.
Yeah. So, and then again, Frank is saying not a competition to say who's the last, who's our newest member, but Frank just joined this past month as well. And actually, I met Frank at a different CPA event back in November. We were at a financial literacy 2-day workshop with CPA Canada. I was sitting beside him. We got talking, and then I learned that he does business evaluations. And we have another colleague of mine that belongs to your Burlington. David belongs to the Burlington chapter. And I'm like, wow, we could use a business evaluation expert in our Toronto chapter, and he lives here in Toronto, so he happily joined in January.
Awesome. Yeah, and business valuation, of course, where you have a corporate account lawyer there, corporate lawyer, you have everyone dealing with businesses. So having a business valuation accountant is great. It's also a CPA. And Frank, we look forward to meeting you, and we look forward to learning more about you and working with our members. So we have Andre. Andre, I think doing either you and I can try to pronounce the last name. Can you pronounce the last name?
I don't think I'll do it very well. And so Andre he just joined this week.
Let me put the name
But
for Andre there because I didn't want us to do him. He's a corporate and commercial lawyer who we are not competing here and doing with you on who reached out to him first. Is it me or you?
I did. So I met him the same night as I met Michael. So Michael Ding
Yes.
and Andre were at a CPA downtown Toronto chapter meeting, and actually Andre, one of his colleagues, was the guest speaker that night, and so I had a conversation. You know what? Like, does not take too much time, Lucy, but you know what I love being as the regional director now. When I go to networking events, I can wear kind of two different hats. So if I want, I could go there as a CPA tax accountant, or I could go or I can go there as the regional director of a business. So that night I went as a regional director of a business referral group. I'm in a room of all of accountants. None of them are going to become tax clients, but some of them might want to become members of a referral group. And then that night I met two lawyers. Actually, I met three lawyers, and two of them joined.
Awesome. Keep going to this event. Keep going even to the lawyers event. Keep going everywhere and doing.
Yeah.
And if you want us to send us some bill, you can send us some bill for your food.
No, it's
Thank
okay.
you so
Thanks,
much.
Michael.
So, Andre, we are going to learn to pronounce your name. We are sorry that we don't. There's one thing I don't like doing. I don't like mispronouncing someone's name. I don't, because that's not good. So I would rather wait and get the pronunciation, but we definitely appreciate you for joining us, and we look forward to you working with our members because corporate law and commercial law is very key in the business community. And because this position became vacant, we really wanted to fill it as soon as possible. And I'm very happy that you filled this position for us. So thank you
And
so much, everyone.
oh,
Of course,
one quick note, Lucy,
yeah.
about Andre is that even before because he came as a guest, so even before he became a full-time member, he was sending referrals to Seth because another law firm reached out to him and they were looking for an employment lawyer, and he reached out to me, so I introduced him to Seth. So even before he joined the chapter, he was already giving referrals to other
Defining.
members.
And I actually saw another email. I like it when you CC on those emails because it's good to know. I saw him actually, without going into details, because we don't want to say what the client was looking for. I also saw him referring to Leon. I saw him looking for somebody to help. Leon is one of his clients or people he knew with services that Leon offers. So what we are trying to say is deferrals would happen. It is referral business is the cheapest form of marketing. And what I know is that if you put a wonderful group of professionals together, those referrals will be quality referrals. And that's what we do. We look at the chapter in Toronto now, people have 5, 10, 20 years experience. I don't want to put them with someone who has just started because then they will not be able to relate. So we try to match our professionals so that we know that when they even go and sit for coffee, they can have that conversation. And serving so many lawyers, because now the Entrepreneur Nation has close to 200 lawyers that we serve countrywide. I also know that this profession has seniority. Even the accountants, you have seniority in your profession. So I want to put people so they can feel that they are at the same level and they are able to work that way. So I look at people and we want to match them. We are matchmakers. LinkedIn, we want to tell you that we are matchmakers. So we match people so they can work together, and that's how referrals are working and everything is working. And let me tell you, there are people who actually don't only look at the referral that comes in. They look at how they are able to serve their clients through this network. They have someone who needs a lawyer, and the lawyer is there. They have someone who needs an accountant, the accountant is there. They have someone who is immigrating or is here and they got married out of the country and they want to bring their wives or their wife. I'm
Right.
correcting that. Wife. They want to bring their wife or they want to bring their husband. We have the immigration lawyers right here. So we are the source center for entrepreneurship. So that's really it. Joanne, do you have something else to say? We don't want to keep people watching for too long.
No, you said it. And again, just as so like again from my practice, I look now I have 20 other professionals that I can refer. So if one of my clients needs a lawyer, a mortgage, real estate, I just say, well, I have a trusted member in or our referral group. Let me introduce you. And it makes all of a sudden it just adds value. I did a post the other day that how do we add value to, and an easy way to add value in 2023 is to join a professional group with other professionals that you can refer your clients to.
Exactly. And so, Dwayne, I'm happy that you're the first regional director that has come out here to preview your members. And that's what the Entrepreneur Nation is going to do going forward. Reach out to the regional directors on quarterly basis. Let them talk about our members here so we can get to know them. We'll give this link for you to send to the other members to watch, or they can come back on LinkedIn and do that. Really, that's really it. And when we are reminding everyone that this is a LinkedIn Live, and people can come here on their own to do LinkedIn Live with me and talk about their businesses. And we have the Entrepreneur TV. So this is LinkedIn Live, but we have real cable broadcasting. There's no other networking group that will put you on cable broadcasting. So please come forward. It's included in your membership. I don't want people to think that, oh, the Entrepreneur Nation is a networking group like any other. No, we are not the same as those others. We pay attention to doing specific things that other people will never offer you because we want to be unique, and we are unique in the way we serve our members. Anything else that I've forgotten doing?
No, that's great. No, thank you for your
Awesome.
Friday afternoon.
Awesome, awesome. So, Toronto members, if you have anything you want us to say, maybe we can even have 2 or 3, like people work together. We can have real estate people, mortgage agent, real estate lawyer, and we just do a conversation with them. So let's make use of this virtual platform. So thank you so much, everyone on LinkedIn. We appreciate you so much. We appreciate you so much.